Salute to all the Patreon members. I want to thank you guys for your support. It really means a lot to me. If you guys could do me a favor, please check out the links in the description box below for the Patreon page. I will be uploading a brand new Patreon page tonight. So tonight we're going to talk about the difference between SLU PP 332. Is it 332 or 32? Yeah, so SLU PP 332 versus Cardarine. All right, what's the difference between Cardarine and SLU PP 332? All the Patreon members, they know what I'm talking about. They know the series that I'm doing and that I've been doing, on Patreon. So you guys don't want to miss that. Click the link in the description box below so you can listen to that tonight. All right. Another thing, if you want to join the Facebook page, link is in the description box below. Make sure you answer like 2 or 3 questions. Make sure you answer the questions. And, if you have an active profile too, all right, you can't have a profile that you just made today with nothing on it, no picture, and then you leave some Proton email address and you've never been nowhere. I can't let you in, right? You got to be, all right, what just happened? Did the connection go out? Why did my live time just reset? All right, test. All right, I think I'm back. Something happened, something weird's going on. But we should be good. All right. But anyways, you got to have an active profile, Facebook profile, in order for me to add you on. All right. Salute to 3D. He said, dudes finally realizing Thailand is overrated as F. All right. Yeah, I heard Vietnam passed Thailand for tourism this year. I don't think it surpassed it. It hasn't surpassed it yet. It's just they have more of an open mind now. And a lot of people are flocking over there, but there's a lot of political issues that are going on over in Thailand right now. It's on top of everything, but there's a lot of political issues going on. Do I think that Thailand will bounce back? Yes, they always do. All right. Thailand, man, how can I put this? Right? They'll bend over backwards to make sure that their tourism industry is number 1 in Asia. All right. They'll bend over backwards to make sure their tourism industry is number 1 around the world. So they'll make adjustments. All right. But there's some things that they do make adjustments on, and there's some things that they'll never change. All right. There's just certain things that they'll never be able to change. They're not trying to change it. They make little adjustments on some of the things that are a major issue over there, and it doesn't really help out that much. All right. So let's talk about the numbers. All right, let's talk numbers. So this article is brought to you by the B&E Express. I don't know how good this publication is, but I do have a Bangkok Post tab uploaded next to this tab right here. And the reason why I don't have the Bangkok Post, which is more of a reputable news outlet, is because the V&A Express, they have a little bit more information that I wanted it to be displayed on this article versus the article that's on the Bangkok Post. All right. Now, let me show you some of the numbers. The number of Chinese tourists was down 25%. Okay, according to the Ministry of Tourism and Sports, Thailand received 12.9 million foreigners visitors between January 1st and May 11th, marking a 1.04 decrease from the same period last year, which isn't bad. The number of Chinese tourists was down 25% to 1.64 million. They used to account for the largest number, peaking at 11.13 million visitors in 2019 before the COVID pandemic began. Now, let me tell you, Thais, they want the money coming from Chinese tourists. They don't necessarily want them there. All right. And that's just not me saying it. For those that don't know, I've lived in Thailand off and on for 8 years. Whenever I would go, like I've been on different what do they call them? Like group tourists. Damn, what do they call it? You know, when you have like a guide and they take you around certain temples, certain parts around Thailand in groups, you go to the museum in groups, you can go by yourself. I've done both. I've gone by myself to a lot of tourism industry areas in Thailand, and I've gone in groups also. And there were many different other groups at these locations when we went there, right? The group that I went with was mixed. There were like 4 or 5 Chinese people there, but there were other groups that were at the same temple, they were at the same resort, or they were at the same Buddha statue, leaning Buddha statue. There were other groups there, but these groups were a part of a different company and they were all Chinese. All right. Every time I would go to different locations with my groups, there were other Chinese groups there. And the Thai woman from my group who was leading the group would look over and see Chinese tourists not really abiding by the rules, and she would have to check them often. All right. So if you go to the Grand Palace, there's sections with like velvet rope. You got the little metal poles of velvet rope around, and it's to protect like the flowers. You know, there's a lot of flowers that they take care of, the different colors. You have maintenance on site that upkeep these flowers and roses there. There's a bunch of them, at different temples and the Grand Palace and stuff like that. There were Chinese tourists going under the rope or walking over the rope and laying in the flowers to take pictures in them, and Thais would go off on them for doing that. Right? Climbing up places where they're not supposed to be climbing, to take pictures, stomping on sacred ground to take pictures. And a lot of Thais, they didn't like that. And they would go off on them quite often. Right? So it's like they want the money, but they don't want them there. If, I've dated a few women that were in the hotel industry, and they always said, like, the worst clients they get are from India and China. She was like, Indians and Chinese, they leave the place a mess. They leave shit in the toilet. It'll be 4 or 5 people in a room. They all taking a shit in the toilet. Nobody flushes it. They shit on the balcony. They didn't shit on because the toilet is clogged up. Like they don't, they destroy furniture in the room. So they got to charge their card. If they left a credit card, they got to charge the credit card. I've heard all kind of stories. So it's like they want their money, but a lot of times they don't want them there. This is from what I heard. All right. But when they don't want to go over there, then that's a concern because money goes down. Now, you might ask the average worker, is like, okay, you know, there's still millions of people from other places that are still coming over, and they might say, hey, if there's less of them, then that's fine, right? I don't have to deal with certain things that I've had to deal with coming from them, from what I've heard. All right. From what I've heard from them, this isn't me taking a shot at nobody that's Chinese. This is just from what I've heard from people who worked in the tourism industry in Thailand that were Thai. But still money goes down. And tourism, I mean, it's always up and down in Thailand. So also the hotel industry in April, its average hotel occupancy rate fell to 63%. All right. There was another incident that made Chinese people not want to go, right? Which is why the hotel occupancy rate fell to 63%, is because there's a Chinese actor named Xing Xing. His real name is Wang Xing. All right. He got abducted in Thailand, right? He got kidnapped in Thailand and then they ended up finding him in Myanmar. So that caused a lot of Chinese people to back off. I'm like, hey man, if you can't treat our celebrities with respect, right? You kidnapping our celebrities, we don't want to go. Remember, Chinese people, they're very nationalistic. So, like Americans, for example, if I mean, I don't know how popular Xing Xing is, but let's say Justin Timberlake or whatever, he gets abducted, he gets kidnapped in Thailand. They ended up finding him in Myanmar, head is shaved, looking deranged, hungry, starved. Um, that would make a lot of noise within America. Hey, they doing this to America, but some Americans, they're not as nationalistic as the Chinese. All right, they're not as nationalistic as the Chinese. They'll probably make jokes and content about it. They'll make a bunch of TikToks about it. They'll take it as a joke. Hell, the occupancy rate, if somebody like a Justin Timberlake were to get kidnapped in Thailand, the occupancy rate will probably go up. All right. It would probably go up. I don't know how to say this person name. President of the Thai Hotels Association said most hoteliers expect a year-on-year drop in foreign guests in the second quarter, and number of Chinese guests is projected to fall by over 30%. Thailand initially expected 37 to 38 million international arrivals this year, but has revised its target down to 35, which still isn't bad. But think about it. That's 3 million less than last year. And each person is spending like $2,000, 2,000 times 3 million. That's a lot of money that's slipping out of their hands. It's still enough, but they have a concern. All right. Now, what other concerns do they have as far as we'll get to the bullshit in a minute. Okay, we'll talk about the women, we'll talk about the lifestyle, we'll talk about, you know, the hospitality in Thailand in a minute. Just let me get through this part first. All right. There's a lot of political drama going on in Thailand. Thailand and Cambodia, they're gangbanging at the borders. There was gunfire at the Cambodian border. I think it was June 7th. So about 3 weeks ago, they was gangbanging at the border. One Cambodian soldier died, and a few soldiers were injured on the Thai side. All right. Um, they said it was like years of just issues that they've had over um land ownership, what they feel is right to theirs, you know, um, where the borderlines should really fall at, what Cambodia thinks they should own and stuff like that, right? So the tension was rising on the border and there was some gunfire. So then they they shut down the border. That left a lot of Thais and Cambodians stranded. So a lot of Thai people that go over to Cambodia to gamble. So that left a lot of gamblers in Thailand stranded in Cambodia, and that left a lot of Cambodians over in Thailand stranded. All right. And they seize all imports and exports from Thailand going into Cambodia. So all the fruits, all the vegetables, fuel and gas, they've halted all those imports from Thailand. All right. On top of that, hold on. Let me pull her up. All right. Let me pull this woman up. This woman right here. This woman right here is a Thai prime minister. Okay. Pai Tong Tarn Shinawatra. I think that's how you say her name. Not a bad looking woman, right? Not a bad looking woman, 38 years old. She got a family, uh, married with a son, right? Not a bad looking woman at all. This woman was doing negotiations over the phone with the Cambodia's former military officer. His name is Hun Sen. All right. Older gentleman. He's like 72 years old. All right. Hun Sen. Now he's like, he serves as the president of the Senate. She was on the phone, doing negotiation strategies, talking to Hun Sen, trying to resolve their issues at the border so they can open up the borders, and all the people from Cambodia that are stranded in Thailand and all the people that are stranded in Cambodia from Thailand, all the people from Cambodia and Thailand and all the people from Thailand and Cambodia can be released and go back home. All right. Over the phone, well, before she made the phone call to Hun Sen, she took a trip over to the Thai-Cambodian border where there were troops there were people there were protests, and there's talks of a coup, right? The last coup that Thailand had was in 2014. And that's why they're talking about the tourism in Thailand can drastically go down, because there was a coup in Thailand that started in 2014. That really didn't end until around, like, the issues of political issues and wars that they had, it really didn't end until about 2016. Right? If you don't remember, like, a lot of people weren't trying to go to Thailand in 2015 like that. All right. There's a political gang in Thailand. I'm not going to say the name online. They were blowing up and bombing like major popular travel resorts all over the country in Thailand. Remember, they bombed that Buddha statue right in front of Scion Paragon Mall. And if anybody's been in Thailand, or you know what I'm talking about, you know about that Buddha statue right in front of Scion Paragon Mall. That's a that's like the most busiest area in Thailand, right? It's traffic, it's tourists, it's citizens, it's people. It's not like it's out in the middle of nowhere. Like you have to travel outside of Bangkok to go see this Buddha statue. No, it's in the middle of everything, right? Think about a major city that you live in, right? Think about like Dallas, for example. If I had to compare what a Buddha statue is in Bangkok with Dallas, it would be right next to that green tower. What do they call it? What's that green tower in Dallas? Green Towers. What do they call that? What are they called? Um, it's a Bank of America Plaza, but I could have sworn they call it something else. The iconic green skyscrapers. It's a few of them: the Reunion Tower, the Renaissance Tower, the Bank of America Plaza, the Fountain Place, the Dallas Arts Tower, this Chase Tower. So at night, it's a green skyline. You're talking about a Buddha statue in the midst of all that downtown. You're talking about a Buddha statue in Times Square. You're talking about a Buddha statue. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of everything. And they blew it up, and a bunch of people lost their lives. And then there were resorts in Hua Hin that were getting blown up, Pattaya, Phuket. So a lot of people fell back from going to Thailand in 2015 over a coup that started in 2014. That's why they're talking about, man, there's a decline in tourism. That's why it's of concern to them. And then now on top of that, they have these pandemic cases are rising over there in Thailand also. So you got the kidnapping. Hold on, and let me show you this guy real quick. This actor, this celeb that they kidnapped. This guy right here. So that's him on the left, right? How he normally looks. That's him on the left, how he normally looks. That's him on the right when they finally found him in Myanmar. Chinese actor Wang Xing says he was forcibly shaved and trained as a scammer in Myanmar. I don't know how long he was gone for, but he was gone long enough to where, he looks malnourished. Right? So a lot of Chinese people, they saw this and they fell back. Occupancy is down 65% in hotels, right? Let me put it back. Let me put it back on her. So in the midst of everything going on, there's a possible coup. There's war going on at the border. This woman goes to the border with a general, right? I don't know if there's a picture between the both of them. I could probably Google it later on. There's a picture of this woman going down to the border with this general. The general's name is Boomsin Patglang. Patglang, Lieutenant General Boomsin Patglang, the regional commander of that area of the border. She goes down there with them, right? To see about what's going on. I think she gave a few words. And, the lieutenant general was standing right next to her the whole time. She goes back to her quarters, right? Goes back to Bangkok, goes back to her office. She makes a phone call to the president of the Senate, Hun Sen, who used to be the former military officer in Cambodia. She calls the Cambodian Senate, Hun Sen, and tells him over the phone, and that phone call was leaked, talking about, hey, Lieutenant General Boomsin Patglang, look, he with the other side, all right? Don't listen to him. Don't worry about him. We not trying to get you caught up in this mess. He's a nobody. Like, he just wanted to show up and look cool. That's all he wanted to do. Yeah, he wanted to take a few photo ops. He's smiling and skinning and grinning in the camera. She told Hun Sen, yeah, he just want to look cool, take pictures or whatever. He don't give a damn. He ain't really with us like that. He with the other side. So don't trust him. Just trust me. Listen to what I got to tell you. And that phone call was leaked. And so that caused an uproar in Thailand. And really, in America, if a phone call like that was leaked, it'd be like, all right, whatever. Nobody cares. Right? nobody cares. There'll be water under the bridge, but in Thailand, they're taking it very seriously, and it seems like the people who are uprising in Thailand, that are protesting in Thailand, seem like they didn't really like this woman anyway, right? Seem like they didn't really want her in office anyway, and this is kind of like a good excuse to get her to resign. That's what they want, right? They want her to resign. Um, so, but anyways, so y'all want to get to the good stuff, right? I know this is what y'all want to get to right here. Hold on, real quick. I know what y'all want to get to. I know what y'all want to get to. This yeah, yeah. You see, y'all want to get to this. Coochie and booty. That's what y'all want to get to as to why a lot of other people are thinking about leaving Thailand. All right. Remember, I lived off and on in Thailand for 8 years. Um, Me personally, there's a lot of good qualities to Thailand. All right. What comes with the good comes with the bad. The thing about Thailand is they open the doors wide open and bent over backwards to have a thriving tourism industry, because I don't want to get into the history and the days when it was Siam and then it turned to Thailand. Right. I don't want to go too deep into that. But they've been doing whatever they can to kind of put a smile on everybody's face, give everybody what they want. Right. It's just one of those countries where they try to appease everybody. And in the midst of them trying to appease everybody, you know, if the good people enter through the airport in Thailand, and a lot of bad people enter through the airport in Thailand. If you could take the good, you got to take the bad, right? You have that many millions of people, 38 million people a year entering into the kingdom of Thailand. All right. There's going to be a percentage of those people that are going to be bad and take advantage of people opening their doors and bending over backwards to appease everybody to come into the country. Right. You got to take the good with the bad. All right. And so, in the midst of that, a lot of bad people come in. A lot of people who are citizens of Thailand, they start to lose themselves. Right? Things change. Um, Songkran is Thai's. It's in April, every April, and it's a week of celebration to celebrate the independence of Thailand. And so Songkran, it used to just be like, they used to have a parade down the street, and it used to be like, people would have like little small cups or buckets of water, and you would kind of dip your hand in the water and flick it in the palms of people's hands to wash away everything that you went through in the year prior, so that when you enter into the new year, you enter into the new year clean, fresh, brand new. You're washing away all the negative from last year. They used to just kind of flick their fingers, flick their fingers, get a little bit of water, flick their fingers and stuff like that, or pour water in your hand with a cup. That's what it used to be. And then when you open up the gates to people from the West, entitled people from the West, if you know what I mean, they turn it into an all-out water brawl throughout the entire country. All right. And the drinking skyrockets, the accidents skyrockets, the deaths on the road skyrocket. right? A lot of drunk drivers on the road skyrocket. So leading up to Songkran, they try to cancel alcohol sales. Alcohol affects the people of Thailand heavily, right? That's kind of like, the common denominator amongst all these roadside accident deaths in Thailand. It's the alcohol. That's why they try to limit alcohol sales in Thailand. All right. So a lot of people, you bring in the evil, you bring in good and evil from other countries. You start losing yourself. You lose your identity, right? Then a lot of people become money hungry. A lot of people, they take advantage of the tourism to make money. A lot of people take advantage of tourists to steal money, right? To rob people for their money. Then people start getting violent. Then gangs start to form. And then now these little drug syndicates, these little gang syndicates that just, grow, cook, and sell drugs and distribute drugs, not only throughout the nation, but to other countries, they start to form in Thailand. All right. So it's kind of like whatever life you kind of want to live in Thailand, you can to a certain degree. If you want to live that church life, you could do that, right? Especially with Koreans. Koreans are very religious. All right. So Koreans, when they go to Korea, yeah, they got their own section. They got their own plaza where they party. They got their grocery stores. They got this, that, and the third way they can shop at. Then they got churches, right? Filipinos too. Filipinos, they got their own community over there. They stick tight. They're tightly niched together. Salute to J Bones. They're tightly niched over there. And then they got their own churches. They got their own schools. So I know a brother from New York, lived in Thailand, skipped over the Thai women to marry a Filipino woman. He got 3 kids with this Filipino woman. He sends all his kids to this Filipino school. It's not an international school because remember, Filipinos, they speak English, right? So he sends them to this Filipino school where they speak in English and doesn't have to pay international student prices, right? Sends his kids to the Filipino school. They're getting a decent education. They're amongst their peers. Yeah, they're a little bit darker, right? But he doesn't have to pay the international student price that he would have to pay in Thailand, and he don't have to send his kids to a Thai school, right? So the Filipinos, they got their own community. Then you got the East Indians, right? You got the Guineas from Africa. Both of them, they're over in the Saladang area in the Gem district, right? White people, they just all over the place in Thailand. Some of them are in the city. Most of them are in the outskirts. They're in the boonies, right? They're in the small towns where it's very quiet. And so over the course of time, when you spend enough time in Thailand, you see changes all the time, right? When I was living in Taiwan, it wasn't that much. You didn't see a change, a shift going on that much in Thailand, in Taiwan, excuse me. In Japan, you might see a shift in the economy like every 4 years, right? The economy goes up and down every 4 years. Like if you look at the Japanese yen on Forex, you'll see that it just goes up and down every 4 years, right? But they don't go through drastic changes. The only drastic change that they're going right through right now is, they have a negative birth rate, right? I mean, which is that's been a steady decline for years, right? But changes in laws and stuff like that, Thailand, you see it, they change their mind like every couple of months to keep up with the laws and what they're implementing and what they're closing down and what they're doing at the border, and these little, what do they call them, the entry cards that you got to fill out, and they're getting rid of that, so you got to fill out all this stuff online, and then you got to receive a QR code in the email, then you got to show the QR code to the immigration officer at the border. It's like they make changes like every 2 months, and people just get sick and tired of it, right? From 2014, when I first stepped into Thailand, to 2022, when I left Thailand, I can tell you, like, it was totally different. Regardless of the pandemic, it was totally different, right? When I first got to Thailand, it's like, damn, this is what people talking about. You see the obese white dude, 80 years old, with the young 16-year-old girl, right? The young 19, 20-year-old girl, right? She got a belly. He got her pregnant. You see what I'm saying? You would see that walking. You would see them walking around with those kind of girls all the time. Then you would see the younger white dudes, 20s, 30s, 40s. You would see them with pretty women, slim, beautiful. Like, damn, all right. They got theirs. You never saw brothers with women that pretty on their arms. You see brothers with the trash on their arms from like Walking Street, Pattaya. 2022, when I left, you started to see young white guys with big women. You started to see young white guys with like chubby women, and they were single mothers. Like the kids were 100% Thai. They weren't mixed. You started to see that. They was getting with single mothers. I'm like, damn, I didn't, this wasn't going on in 2014, 2015, right? I remember in 2018 when Thailand, they was feeling themselves. They was smelling their shit. They were like, look, we got, everybody wants to come here. We got all these tourists. We rolling in money. We building beaches over here. We importing sand and palm trees and coconut trees. We paying millions to make these man-made beaches. Hey, you know what? Now it's time to get rid of some of these unwanted foreigners. So at the beginning of 2018, January 1st, 2018, you've heard me say it, they started deporting people left and right. Left and right for the most minute reasons, the most diminutive reasons ever. They started deporting people left and fucking right. I've seen it. I know people personally who got kicked out of the country and they had to get help to get back in the country because their stuff was still in their room. Right? After a while, man, and then on top of that, it's like, Thailand, like I said, you got to take the good with the bad. So after the pandemic, they didn't really bring back the night train markets. You didn't really bring back that big night train market in Hoi Kwon, right? You didn't bring back that big night train market that was over there in the Bang Na area. You didn't bring back all the stores that were in Asia Teak. All that shit shut down. So when I went back in 2022, a lot of the spots that were the go-to spots, they were dead. They were still open, but most of the shit that made it popular and entertaining, they shut it down. So you go to Asia Teak, it's like a handful of people over there. I'm like, damn, I remember this is the spot. This is where I used to take women, not on the first date, But after, we had sex and, we like each other, then I would take them to Asiatique, right? Because they had, live bands at Asiatique, right? You take your woman to a nice restaurant. The lighting was good, right? It was a very intimate. I don't know. It's like a very intimate lighting. The type of lights they had. It was inside of a building, but they had a bunch of double doors all around, and they opened all the double doors, so it's like you inside, but it's like you feel like you outside. You feel the breeze also, right? They had a live band playing music. You eating, you holding your woman's hand. Y'all walk around. You got a rose. You see the people selling the roses. You buy her a rose. Y'all playing the games. You win her a teddy bear. You get on the Ferris wheel. She kissing you at the top of the Ferris wheel. You go back down. You go to a couple stores, look at some vendors, see all the unique shit that they're selling. Then you go back home at the end of the night and you fuck the dog shit out of your woman. That was a good night at Asiatique, right? Night Train Market, live instrumentation. It was right behind Esplanade Mall in Hoi Kwong. I remember I used to live right up the street from Esplanade Mall. Esplanade Mall had the good bingsu ice cream. Y'all know what bingsu is? That's that Korean ice cream where it's not like all of it's not cream. It's like shaved ice, but then they pour cream on it and they got fruit at the top. They got cheesecake cuttings at the top, right? You go behind Esplanade Mall at night. Everybody's selling clothes. They got, the barbershop back there. They got live instrumentation. They got a bunch of little, man-made bars there, like sports bars. You and your lady, y'all order French fries. You watching the soccer game. You watching the basketball game. You watching the football game. Then you go in the back. They got a whole bunch of little small, little clubs and in the back, little lounges in the back that they made. It looked kind of like a shanty town, but it's like a renovated shanty town. But it's like a bunch of clubs, a bunch of little small bars and clubs with lounge chairs and shit like that. You go in there, they got the music playing, the drinks is flowing. They had the little lights or whatever, the little different colored lights, the light strobes inside. You watching the game, you talking to your lady, right? Y'all dancing a little bit. You ordering little finger foods. Then you walk around and y'all see what they selling. Then you take her back to your spot and fuck the dog shit out of her. That's how it was when Bangkok was booming, when Thailand was booming. After the pandemic, they shut all that shit down. They never brought it back. So where do you go at night? What do? They build another mall. They built Icon Siam Mall. I don't want to fucking hang out at a mall all the time, even though they got the best malls in the world, Thailand, right? But it's like I don't want to fucking hang out at a mall all day. They got good food, they got good restaurants, they got exotic looking malls on the inside. Then it's like when your girl is acting up in Bangkok, or it's like she don't want to talk to you, she ignoring you for some dumbass reason. It's like, hey man, I'm going to Walking Street in Pattaya. I'm gonna get me this little big booty lime green chick right here, right? Bend her over. Bend her over for about 3 days. Then you go back to your girl in Bangkok. That's how it is over there. But here's the thing. When brothers started going over to Thailand, and then you deal with people, you start going, your first, like if you visit your first couple of places, you know, you got everything mapped out. I want to go to a nice hotel, especially if you're spending a little bit of money. You go to a nice hotel. This time you balling out. You haven't been on a vacation in a while. Now I'm going to the Peninsula Mall. No, I'm going to the Peninsula Hotel, right? I'm going to this sauna. I'm going to this lounge. I'm going to this rooftop bar. I'm going to these malls. I'm going to this marketplace. Everybody's saying yes, sir, no, sir, when you go to these places, when you balling on a budget, right? You balling, you're on a little bit of a budget, but you balling nonetheless. Everybody's saying yes, sir, no, sir, when you go to these places. So the next time you go to Thailand, you keep visiting, you're like, okay, that was like a one-time thing. You know, now, we doing the Holiday Inns. Now we doing the Candlewood Suites, right? Now we doing the Stay Bridges. We balling on a little bit of a budget. So now you book at the Holiday Inn, you like, they're not saying yes, sir, no, sir. They're telling you, like, hey, yeah, that room that you reserved, we gave it to somebody else. Like, hey, man, why the fuck would you give my room to somebody else? Sorry. Right? But there's there's a struggle hotel across the street. I think they got some spots. I don't want to go to the struggle hotel. I had a reservation here. Well, we gave it to somebody. You like, damn. All right. Hold on real quick. I want to make an order. Hold on. But anyways, so you go to the struggle hotel, bunch of mosquitoes in there, bathroom looking dirty, mattress is the mattress is fucked in, right? Big ass stain on the mattress. Ain't no sheets on there. You got to put the sheets on your bed by yourself. You're like, damn, no, I gotta spend for something better. You look up, you find something better. Boom. All right. You didn't really get it at the rate you want, but you got something better. So then you don't go to steak houses. Now you going to a lot of local spots. You going to the local mom and pop spots, right? You going to the malls. You're not, yeah, you go back to Scion Paragon one more time. You go to Icon Scion one more time. But then you start going to like Central Bangna, right? You start going to Central Rangsit. You start going to Central Chengwatana, right? You start going to Central Northern Booty. You going to Westgate. You're not going to the major malls no more. You trying to venture out and explore and see what else is out there, right? You going to some of the spots in the different stores and restaurants and other places. Man, people just not like, nobody's acknowledging you. People ignoring you. You ask for help, they tell you, hey, man, go to somebody else. I don't work in that department, right? You start seeing the hospitality, depending on how much money you spend, right? That's the level of hospitality you getting. Right? I'm not saying everybody, if you on a budget, everybody's rude to you. No. Right? You just not gonna get the same treatment that you got at, on the what's a good amount? I got 5,000 to spend in a week, 6,000 to spend in a week. you're not getting that same treatment. The steak houses and everything, no, you're not hearing the yes sirs and no sirs. And you go to Calson Road, you see everybody cutting a jig, buck dancing, right? Doing the boogaloo, right? Doing all these dances when they got white tourists going into their restaurant, right? I'm like, damn, they really buffooning in there for them white tourists. Let some black tourists go in there, 10 black people reserve a table. They gonna throw the plate at you like, man, here the fuck you go. You're like, damn. You like, damn. They not cutting a jig like they once did. Damn, I don't want that many. They not cutting a jig like they were for them other folks. You see what I'm saying? So, what's all that red shit on there? I don't want ghost pepper seasoning. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Ghost pepper my ass. Pause. Hold on. Bear with me. Hold on. I gotta change this to that. Confirm. All right, there we go. So everything plays in. It's just that. Let me get to the point on what I'm trying to say. After a while, people get tired of the local people because over the years, you start to see a lot of people, they get arrogant. You know, they become rude. It's almost like they have like just like I'm gonna say spiteful, not jealous, but just like an unwanted disposition about you when you go there, especially when you're a black foreigner. And you can feel it, right? When you get on dating apps in Thailand, you might see like, hey, I'm not really getting a lot of matches on here, right? So what's the first thing brothers do? They go to the club. Instead of getting something a little bit better of somewhat of quality by paying for, you know, somebody who's slim, in shape, getting for what you want, you know, like at a buffet, right? Or going up to a restaurant, ordering exactly what it is that you want. You know, I want something at medium height, natural hair, brown hair, smooth skin, you know, enhanced body, right? Top heavy, right? Female, born female, pretty smile, nice feet, right? Smell good. How much is that going to cost me? That's going to be 1,200 baht. Yeah, that's what I want, right? Instead of brothers going over there doing that, what do they do? They go to the hip hop clubs in Pattaya. And you've already heard me say this a million trillion times about these hip hop clubs, right? The shit that's just blaring through the speakers that you know, that's warping the minds of a lot of people down there. That's when you'll see a lot of big women with a bunch of tattoos that are on pills, drugs, single mothers, the worst of society or what brothers pull out of these clubs, right? Because their best, it's a little bit difficult. But all across the board, a lot of people, um, sometimes after a while, people they just get tired of dealing with um a little bit of the disrespect and the arrogance, right? They didn't really become humble until the pandemic. That's when they became humble, right? Because 2018, 2019, that's when they was really like, hey, look, fuck you, everybody's trying to come over, and we don't give a damn if you don't like it. We kicking everybody out that we deem undesirable. So if you want to overstay about 30 minutes, we sending you back home. We kicking everybody out for everything. And we're like, damn, this is kind of harsh. We're like, fuck you if you don't like it. Bye. That was their attitude in 2018, 2019, 2020 hit. They was begging people to come back. Oh, we're sorry. We'll give you an elite visa at a very cheaper price. You walk through the malls, they were dead empty. People who worked at these malls, they were standing out in the front with their mask on. And when you walk past down the hallway at some of these malls, right, if you didn't go in the mall, they would bow as soon as you pass by. So let's say you walking down like a long strip in the mall and there's shops on both sides. And that long strip, you probably walk past about 40 shops, right? There's 40 people on both sides. So 20 on the right side, 20 on the left side. And as soon as you pass by the first set of people, they bow, they bow, they bow, they bow. Like every single pair of people that you walk past, they all bowed. You trying to get to the exit, 40 people bowed for you because they're like, please, consider buying something from us, come again, right? As soon as they opened Thailand back up, it was a real rough start, right? 2021, 2022, it was still rough, right? Like they were still limiting people, the amount of people that could come in to the country in 2022. Now it seems like the numbers are back to normal and they probably back on their bullshit again. And people are just getting tired of it. Right? You're getting tired of going to the airport and standing in line at Savannah Boomy Airport to get through immigration. You get tired of standing there for hours to get through the line so you could get to your cab and go to your hotel. You get tired of doing a 90-day report. You're married with children there, right? And they still make you do a 90-day report. Where do you live? I live at the same place. Okay, bye. And to even put in for the 90-day report, do you know how long you got to wait at immigration? It don't matter if it's Changwatana, Nantan Buri, if it's it don't matter, right? It don't matter if you're like in it takes a long time because when you get there, you could be one of the first few people there. As soon as they open the doors and they start their computers, like you're gonna wait about an hour. They get on their computer before they see you probably gotta wait 45 minutes before they see the first person. And then you got there about an hour early before it opened. They don't see the first person until 45 minutes. You probably number 3 in line, and they taking a sweet ass time with each person that's going through there. You get through there. It's like, okay, stamp, stamp, stamp. Go to that department over there. You got to wait. You number 7 in line over there. You got to wait another 45 minutes. Stamp, 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 stamp. Go back over there. They go back over there. Okay, you give me your paperwork. You got to take a picture, right? All right, you're good. That whole process is like 2.5 hours. You got to do that every 90 days. People get tired of that shit, man. But some people, they like it enough to where it doesn't bother them, right? When you got money in Thailand, life is plush, but you got to be careful, especially if you're into motorcycles and motorbikes like myself. All right. When you making $5,000-6,000 a month, which most foreigners aren't making in Thailand, most foreigners are only making $1,000 a month in Thailand. I would not go there. I would not go to Thailand to make $1,000 a month. I wouldn't even go there to make $1,500 a month, because you might as well just stay in America, get a bag, and go visit every couple of months. You'll have a much better experience, right? But a lot of guys will give up their life back in the West to go to Thailand for $1,000 a month, entry level position jobs, so that in hopes they can have sex with a woman, in hopes they can find them a girl and have children. And to me, it's not worth it, right? Like, it's not worth only making $1,000 a month, especially there, and it's expensive, right? Not super expensive, but let me tell you, you're not living comfortably off $1,000 a month in Thailand. You living comfortably off, about 3,000 a month, right? That's when it's like, okay, it's cool to move and stay over there. 3,000, that's entry level for comfortability, right? 4,000, you good. You real good. 3,000, you good too. 4,000, you really good, right? But then you got to go through that process, right? Anything you do. I want to get a business visa. You got to go through this whole process. I want to get a work visa. That's a long that's like a 1 year, a 6 months to a 1 year process to get a work visa. And the amount of traveling you got to do for that is insane. All right. With a 90-day report, that's insane. I want to get a student visa. That's insane. Some people, and then a lot of people are talking about Vietnam. All right. Vietnam, I've never been to Vietnam, but I'm pretty sure your experience going to Vietnam versus, like, because I've been to Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, Thailand, China, Korea, Hong Kong, the Philippines. Let me tell you, my experience through immigration with all the other Asian countries was a lot more laid back and relaxing than what I had to deal with in Thailand. When I was in Taiwan, which I lived there for like, what, 3 years, 3.5 years, man, that was night and day. And that's a nice country to be in, right? It's a very nice country. It's a decent country to be in, right? You go through the airport, you get off the plane, you go through the airport in Taiwan, you in and out, right? You go to the immigration office in Taipei, you in and out. I've never spent more than 15 minutes at that immigration office, that big immigration office in Taipei. 15 minutes. They didn't want a 90-day report, nothing. Here you go, 2-year visa. You're like, damn, 2 years? See, Thailand, they never gave you that. Taiwan, they don't want a 90-day report. Everybody's nice and friendly at the immigration office. Nobody's stressed out. Then on top of that, like the people, I've told you guys how the education system in Thailand, right? They don't challenge none of their students. Everybody gets passed along. Everybody just fucks around in school and they get passed along in Thailand. And these same people, they become they're the same people that work in the hospital when you need help, right? They're the same people that's driving the bus. They're the same people that's fixing your food, right? They're the same people at the immigration office. They're the same people you run into at the mall. They're the same people driving the airplanes, taking you from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, right? They're the same people you putting your life in their hands. And when you go to some of these schools to teach, you see, man, all these kids, they just fuck around and do nothing. And you have to pass each and every one of them. None of them are challenged at all, right? They did not earn their grade. They were given their grade. They're the same people at the bank when you got to open up a fucking bank account, right? They're the same people that's security. You know what I'm saying? Or the police department that you got to deal with. So there's a lot of, respectfully, I know it doesn't sound respectful, but respectfully, there's a lot of overgrown adolescents in Thailand. I'm just being honest, right? Now, 100% of the people like that, no. But I know the education system in grade school and in university, at the top university, everybody just gets passed along. A passing grade in Thailand is a 30 at university, right? It used to be a 40. Then they kept lowering it every single year when I was there. Well, not every year, but when I was there, they lowered it to 35. Then they lowered it to 30. So these people with these degrees and, you know, working in the corporate sector, these high-end positions, these business owners, they pass pretty much doing nothing, but all they had to do was get a 30. So now you're introduced to this, right? Now you're introduced to some of these people's kind-hearted attitude, light-hearted attitude, careless-hearted attitude, mean-spirited hearted attitude in the public, right? Careless, doesn't matter. How many times have I showed you different news articles where it's like, damn, like, nobody inspected this. Nobody inspected the bus. Nobody inspected the harness. Nobody inspected the boat. Nobody inspected the motorbike. And then this many people ended up losing their lives. This many children ended up losing their lives. These teachers ended up losing their lives. These tourists ended up losing their lives. You see what I'm saying? So Thailand, there is a way you have to move and walk. You got to keep your head on a swivel over there, and you have to know, you have to really understand and know the personality of Thai people in order to be able to just somehow make it through the day over there, right? Mentally and physically, right? It wasn't really smart for me to get a motorbike back in 2022, but I did anyway. Knowing what the statistics were over there, I ended up getting one anyway. Knowing the amount of drunk drivers that are on the road, the roadside accident deaths, I ended up getting a motorbike anyways. I was fine. Right? I don't want to tell you all the interactions that I've had with people over there, different landlords, co-workers, principals, professors, staff, immigration officer. It was a headache talking to people. It was like, I remember one time like sending, I used to get paid in Thai dollars too, right? But they pay you in cash or they pay you in their bank account. For whatever reason, I never wired money from a Thai bank account to the American bank account. I just thought it was too much of a hassle, even though I never looked into it. So what I would do is or what would I do? I remember like I would get money online, and then I would send that money to myself, Western Union, and try to pick it up from banks in Thailand. And I remember one time like um this one bank, they had first, last name. I had all the information there, but I didn't write my middle name because in their system, they didn't ask for a middle name. And they said, "Oh, we can't give you the money because this name you didn't put this name here." I'm like, "That's my middle name. It's not important." But it's in your passport. But I'm like, all the other details is correct. Like, what's so what? Nah, we can't give you the money. Childish as hell, right? This was at UOB. I think it's that UOB bank. So then I went like I'm arguing with them. I'm arguing with the security. Nobody wants to give me my money. So then I go to the bank across the street. They give me my money. Every other bank gave me my money except in at UOB. And I know UOB isn't like that. I've been to UOBs in other countries, but it's that one. They just didn't feel like giving me my money. Everything is correct. You just didn't write your middle name. But you don't have a box here on the computer for me to write my middle name. They do that a lot in Africa. Western Union denied my dad his money because of his middle. Yeah, it's stupid, and they don't realize that in America that nobody really gives a shit about your middle name. It's like that's optional if you want to write your middle name, but because it's in your passport, right? Because it's in your passport, you have to put it down. So you got to deal with that. Then these mom and pop restaurants. I've been to mom and pop restaurants. They serve like there's some good restaurants. Don't get me wrong. There's some restaurants that they'll just put anything. It's like there's molded meat in the food, hair, fingernails, a watch battery. It's like they don't give a shit in some of these little mom and pop spots, right? And it's like, so it's like now I can't. I don't trust you. I can't eat at like a night market or whatever, or some mom and pop spot. You know, I got to eat at the mall now. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't take. I don't want to take motorbike taxis, even though it's quicker. I got to take a taxi, and then, like I said, the overgrown adolescents. Every time I booked a Grab taxi or booked an Uber, every time it was a female, they would always drive past me. They would always fucking drive past me. And it's like now I have to like it's already hot as hell in Thailand. It's already 100 degrees outside. I'm waving my arms like, "Hey man, slow the fuck down. It's me." Because Grab Taxi, it won't let you put a profile picture. You could put a description. You could put a description in there uh of who you are, but you can't upload a photo. So they used to ride past me all the time because of that black fear that they have. So it's like now it's like I'm sweating. We got to take an extra 5 to 10 minutes for you to come back around and realize I'm the person who booked the Grab taxi. And that's taking time out of my day, right? I'm like, I waved my arms right in front of you. Why did you keep driving? Oh, I'm so sorry. That happened all the fucking time. in Thailand. You get on elevators, people scream and want to get off the elevator. And then so you can't eat at, you can't support local businesses, you can't go to mom and pop spots, you can't go to university because it feels like damn, I don't even feel like I earned this shit. Nobody wants to sit next to you at a university. Nobody wants to work with you. That's Thai. Like other international students, they'll sit next to you, they'll work with you. But Thais, they're like, no, you're not Thai. Fuck you. We don't want to have anything to do with you. Right? The Thai professors, they're working against you. The Thai students, they're working against you. The Thai professors and students, they got their own group chat and they don't add you in there. The Thai professors tell the Thai students, hey, talk to your international classmates and tell them there's no school tomorrow. They don't tell us. Well, I told them to tell you. It ain't their fucking job to tell us. It's your job. If you told them, you got to tell us. So all the international students on campus, nobody's there. We're wondering where the fuck is everybody? Oh, no school today. You go to immigration office, they're kikiing and cockeying, playing a whole bunch of fucking games, right? Motherfucker gonna tell me to take off my glasses because he wanted to look in my eyes. I want to see if you're telling the truth or not. What the fuck is there to tell you the truth? What the fuck do I need to lie for? I'm doing a 90-day report. This is my contract. I'm not on overstay. This is my visa. What you want to look into my eyes for? Right? It's after a while you get y'all ready for this? After a while, man, when you've been in Thailand long enough, you get Thai fatigue. You really get a Thai fatigue, and you just like, hey, man, I'm not going back to that place for another year. Motherfuckers driving on the sidewalk, driving through red lights, damn near running me over, right? All these electrical cables. They got the bamboo ladder up on top of the little cables. They're cutting all these cables, got it all laid out. Electrical line hot than a motherfucker, laid out on the sidewalk. They don't put a barrier or nothing, right? They don't clean the river. They don't clean the sidewalks. They'll spend money for another mall, shit that we don't want as a foreigner, right? It's like, man, fix the mall, fix the street, fix the road. Like, use the money to improve education, right? You know, like fix the money to improve like the to upgrade the minds of the people there, right? Use that money so that you can have a better class of people and they're not doing a bunch of like hillbilly ass shit all throughout the city. You know what I'm saying? There's a total difference between Taipei, the Taipei, hell, Shinju in Taiwan, the people there and the people in Bangkok, right? But more money is flowing through maybe not. You know, the semiconductor industry, I'm pretty sure they're seeing a lot of money. Much money is Taiwan semiconductors. GDP and global supply chain in recent years, the industry's output has nearly doubled, reaching 163 billion between 2018 and 2022. So about 2024, 165 billion dollars that's contributed to Taiwan's GDP, right? But here's the thing: you got 38 million. You got 38 million foreigners going in and out of Thailand every single year. Let's say each and every person is spending $2,000, right? That's still $76 billion, right? Use that money to improve the education, to improve the lifestyle, to improve the ambiance of people. So they're not doing that hillbilly ass shit that they're doing over there. So that, now it's like you have a system, an education system where people have to earn the grade, and you put more competent people out there in society. Use that money to improve the competency level of most of the people there in society. So you don't have a bunch of, you see, and that's the thing about Thailand. It's like, but after a while you miss it. You do miss it, but you don't, it's like you can only at most stomach what goes on over there for like 2 weeks. And then it's like, okay, I gotta go. I have to go. I have to get out of here. And then a year goes by, you're like, damn, man, that's just, the women looking good over there. You're looking at some of these dating apps. They're giving you choosing signals. They talking about when you coming over. I'll take care of you when you come over. You're like, damn, man, I got to get back over there. But for me, living there, Thai fatigue is real. Thai fatigue is real. Now, look what's going on. I just told you guys politically, there's a coup, right? There's a coup. There's uprisings. These political gangs, they about to start. It's about to be 2015 all over again. You got another wave of this pandemic that's going through there. And Vietnam is cheaper. I don't necessarily know if the women look better, but they're probably nicer. Right? I don't have to go through all that shit through immigration like I do in Thailand. Right? They still sending me naked photos talking about when you coming through. All right, well, I'm gonna go over there. People want the holiday special, you see, but what's that gonna do for Vietnam though? You see, the thing is like the Philippines, like, the women in Thailand look better, and the infrastructure and the entertainment and lifestyle over there in Thailand is way better than the Philippines. Right? And they have a language in Thailand. So it's like people who just, if they don't have, if they don't have like a business online or whatever, they're not retired, then they have a fighting chance of staying in the country. They have a chance of staying in the country by being an English teacher. You can't do that in the Philippines. You can't be an English teacher in the Philippines. So the money for that industry is gone. There's no money for that. You're not using that money. Like it's the competency level over there is worse, right? It's almost worse over there. Okay, is this gonna? Okay, that's not working. So people are just looking for alternatives. They don't want to be in the crossfire. They don't want to be in another political crossfire. you know, because if things get to how things were in 2015 again, then lives could be lost, and people don't want to go through that, right? They don't want to go through that, you know. But can Vietnam be the next Thailand? I don't know. Are they ready for that? Are they ready for that? Are you ready to just open your doors like that and let everybody in and give them what they want? See, Thailand, they try to appease everybody. Please come back. Please come back. Nah, we don't know the pandemic and trying to save, and I don't know, and I lost my job, and okay, we'll make weed legal. We'll make weed legal. We'll officially make prostitution legal and not try to hide it anymore, right? We'll make these mushrooms legal, right? We'll give you a 10-year visa at a cheaper price, right? And we won't deport you on 1-day overstay anymore. We'll go back to the old ways. How can you trust the system that's like fickle? It's a fickle system that it's like one day it's fuck you, the next day is oh okay, we're sorry, come back. We didn't mean that. People want it, like, we know over time things change, but people want to go somewhere where it's like consistently I'm damn near getting the same thing every single time. Yeah, exactly. Tire fatigue. It's like I want to know what I'm getting every single time I go there. I don't want y'all to be on some like, oh, okay, the laws change. You can't do this and do that no more. I'm like, what? You fly in and you can't buy liquor. You're like, damn, what? You fly in, you're like, okay, well, damn, I'm gonna get me something to smoke. You buy you some weed, you smoke it, and now you getting arrested. You're like, well, damn, I thought it was legal. Nah, there's a zone where you have to smoke it. What zone are you talking about? No, you can't. You could buy it here, but you can't smoke it anywhere here. You have to drive over here on this side of the city or this province over here, and then you can smoke it over there. So we're gonna have to arrest you. You're like, what? So that's why people are leaving. It's just one day you're hot, the next day you cold. One day you happy, the next day you mad. Then the next day y'all brawling, y'all shooting at each other, y'all blowing up tourist spots. You know, it's people tired, fatigue. But you see, what keeps people coming back is, you know, these condos that they build. You know, they put in studios and shit in there and restaurants, and you know they put in a slide from the 20th floor down to the lobby. You could slide all the way from the 20th floor down to the lobby in this condo, right? And the cheap sex. That's what it is. The cheap sex. People just like you see lime green right here. You see lime green like here. That's what they want. Lime green. You can fuck her for anything, and these women over here too. You can fuck them from anywhere between free to about $30. You like, damn, I came here with a bankroll. I want all three of them at the same time, and you can make it happen. That's why there's 38 million people going over there, because there's a lot of freaky people. There's a lot of freaky people in this world. There are guys that want to go get him a he and want to go get him a she, and then want to go get him a mixture. There are guys that go over there and they fucked every gender imaginable over there. There are guys that go over there, they done ran through all the women in the club. They done ran through all the women on the the little escort sites. They know his name. Oh, that guy. No, I told you I don't want to use those toys. They're too sharp. Oh, here comes this guy. Right? They know who the fuck you are. Like there's some freaks over there. And they're not just white too. They of all races. All right. So, and then on top of that, it's like there's dual pricing. And then you gotta deal with there's Thai fatigue, and then there's foreigner fatigue. All right. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Let me pause this. Sorry, I had a phone call. So it's not just Thai fatigue, Thai immigration fatigue, Thai government fatigue, Thai, the Thai public fatigue, Thai uh traffic fatigue, Thai food fatigue, the Thai smell fatigue, the Thai water fatigue, the Thai sidewalk fatigue, the Thai drain system failure fatigue. A lot of people have foreigner fatigue when they get over to Thailand, right? A lot of people have foreigner fatigue. I don't really feel that in Taiwan. I didn't really feel that in Taiwan, but like traveling, you see, traveling that you got to bring your lady to Taiwan, right? And that's the problem with women of 2025. When you have somebody that's as experienced, that's been traveling like me, and then you go out here in the world and you deal with the average modern woman today. It's like average modern women, they fuck up a good time, right? You don't know how to play your position. You don't know how to play your role. I'm doing everything. You don't appreciate a man that's right here. And it's kind of like, damn, we could be doing this. We could be going to Taipei for Christmas. Take a real nice picture in front of the big Christmas tree down there in Xinyi district in Taipei during Christmas. Right there by Taipei 101, then go to Frank's at that rooftop club. But these bitches today, they fuck it all up with their modern feminism bullshit. You can't even act right so a man could treat you to a vacation, right? Because going to Taiwan by yourself to visit, it's not, it's like, yeah, right. It's like, you would have to get to know a Thai bitch and then fly her to Taiwan and then meet her there and have, you're not guaranteed to fuck anything when you go to Taiwan, especially as a black man. You would have to unless you don't have anything lined up, you would have to fly a freak out from Thailand to Taiwan to have a good time. You can't even bring your woman from the States over there because of this feminist, masculine mindset, modern mindset that they have. They fuck it up, right? There's so many. It's like I wish, if you in a relationship, there's so many places I would like to go to that I know, all right, when I pull up there, you're not like the freaks ain't gonna come out like Thailand. Right. So it's best to travel with your lady over there, go to Sandro Pay, with your lady experience. But it's I swear, Western American women, why would you want to treat them to that? They don't deserve it. today's women, they don't fucking deserve it, right? So it's like you got to go down to the ratchet spots. You got to go to Colombia, Brazil, Thailand, Philippines. Because if I go to San Tropez, you just might be walking around looking stupid. You could find something, but it's like, you know where you can go where a hoe is gonna hoe. You know what I'm saying? You know them spots. It's like, no, I need this element too. I need this. I need to release this. I need to go to somewhere where I'm gonna have a good time and I can release. But you can't do that. You know, when you go to, when there's so many like other spots that you want to travel to, it's like, man, you get tired of Thailand, and it's like you think about these other spots, but it's like, damn, but what are the women like? And nobody's really talking about that level of cooperation over there. But anyways, I'm over and I'm out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. I'm over and I'm out. Take care. Peace.